Have you seen the new documentary on Peacock called Anatomy of Lies? I had actually never heard this story. I'm even a true crime podcaster and I was unaware of this story, but this is Elizabeth Finch and she was one of the main writers for Grey's Anatomy. Huge show. While she was working for Grey's Anatomy as a writer, she was producing these episodes. She was going through her own cancer battle, fighting chondrosarcoma, which is a very aggressive form of cancer. Also, while she was working there, the synagogue shooting that happened in Pittsburgh apparently was very close to home for her. This was like a synagogue that she went to while she was in college, and she knew some of the victims of that shooting. Oh, and her brother, who was abusive to her when she was a kid, took his own life, all while she was working at Grey's Anatomy as a writer. And she was taking all of her traumatic life events and turning them into episodes for the show. One of them actually won her a bunch of awards because it talked about like conceiving a child as a result of grape. Another story that she was claiming was very close to her actual personal lived experience. So during her time as a writer, she also met and fell in love with this woman here, Jen. Now, Jen has really been through it. She went through a really traumatic relationship with a ton of abuse and psychological manipulation. It was horrific what she went through. And these two crossed paths because at one point, Elizabeth decided to go to inpatient therapy for her PTSD in regards to that synagogue shooting. And Jen was going to therapy for her PTSD because of her relationship. So these two hit it off. They become very close. They eventually fall in love and they get married. Now, I'm going to spoil this series, so if you don't want it spoiled, you can swipe. But at one point, Jen finds out, it's like suddenly she realizes everything that Elizabeth has ever said, and they all call her Finch or Finchy, but everything that Finch has told her has been a lie. Her battle with cancer, lie. Her abusive brother, lie. Being present at that synagogue shooting or even knowing anyone that was killed from that shooting, lie. Conceiving a baby as a result of grape, lie. But what she was doing was she was taking everyone else's traumatic life experiences, claiming them as her own, and then using them to write these episodes for Grey's Anatomy. And then when some of the producers of Grey's Anatomy weren't happy with her writing and they thought that she was kind of not a great fit for the show, they were like, well, we can't fire her because she has cancer. So Jen confronts Finch with all of these lies and tells her that she needs to tell everyone the truth. Her coworkers, her family, Jen's kids. She has 4 kids from this previous relationship. She is telling Finch, you need to tell the truth or I will. And Finch is like, whatever. She's blowing it off as if lying about cancer and all these other things is just like not that big of a deal. So Finch writes an email to her coworkers, basically explaining where she's been the past few months because her brother committed suicide. Like she's still sticking to some of the lies, but then finally Jen has had it. And she's like, fine, if you're not going to tell them the truth, then I will. And she sends all of her coworkers an email explicitly laying out every single thing that this person has lied about. And then to add insult to injury, Finch starts doing things to Jen that are very reminiscent of the things that Jen went through with her previous relationship that was very manipulative and abusive and just psychotic. Now, the series on Peacock is a multi-part series, so obviously I'm leaving out a ton of details, but I implore you to go watch it because it is fascinating. I had no idea that this person was doing this with one of the biggest shows on TV that closely woven within the shows that we are so familiar with. It is actually mind-blowing. So anyway, go watch it. It's interesting.